Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Monday. You know, with all of the upheaval in our world, all the things that have been going on in Washington in the last week, I felt the need to turn to Psalm 23 for our thoughts today. Because out in the pastures with his sheep and away from the cares of this world, David came to realize a great truth about the Lord. And he writes it in Psalm 23 in verse 1. The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. You know, David may have often been amazed at the calmness of the sheep in the middle of the night, because there they were with nothing around them except darkness. And you realize darkness not only has its worries, it's sometimes frightening when you cannot see what is out there. Perhaps even the sense of wild animals that were out to get them were hanging in the air. They could smell them. They knew that they were all around. Maybe they even heard the howling of some wild dogs on the hillside, looking at those sheep as perhaps their supper. Yet, when David pulled out his harp and began to play a little tune and sing something which surely he had composed, right? Because he wrote so many of these psalms anyway for the people to use as their worship. The sheep seemed to calm down. They would sleep so soundly in the midst of the night while David sang to them. Now, that was certainly a learned behavior, and I want you to realize that today. Sheep don't start out familiar with their shepherd or comfortable around them. First of all, they don't know whether they can trust them. They aren't familiar with their voice in the beginning. And yet, you see the sheep watch the shepherd. They see if they're faithful. They want to see if they're going to be there despite the dangers that may lurk around them. They could also learn the tone of their voice. Does this shepherd sound like he's frightened because of the things that's going on? And of course, they were watching as the shepherd guarded them. You know, David told King Saul the story about how, as a shepherd boy, he killed both a lion and a bear to protect the flock from wild animals. Now, I cannot imagine those sheep standing on their hind legs and cheering while David... But you know they noticed. You know they watched. You know they recognized that their shepherd was going to care for them. And they also came to realize that when they were hungry, they were provided all the green grass that they needed to graze. So David said, the Lord is my shepherd. I'm going to trust him from any enemy that lurks around us. I've watched him. I've learned his track record. He has proven himself faithful. And I'm going to trust him completely. And I know that I shall not want. I won't be allowed to go hungry or lack anything when the Lord is supplying my every need. Where have we been placing our trust? Hopefully we've not been trusting the government. What have we been relying on? Is it the Lord? Because we would be so much more comfortable today if we were to say with confidence, the Lord is my shepherd.